It's a late one. And yes, I should be in bed. But we got to clear the air real quick because, as y'all might already know, I'm very passionate about this topic, these topics. If you don't already know, you're getting ready to find out. All right, check in, chat. Check in, check in, check in. We're taking attendance today. We're clearing the air. Which one do you want to start with? I know. I know of at least one person that's going to be up in here. Marcus makes two. My guy Salam is going to show up at some point. I can almost guarantee it. Marcus is in the house. Thanks for being here, man. We should be sleeping, but there's work to be done. We're going to start with Tyler Guyton. And we're going to all get on the same page. This is something I've been writing about for weeks now. Talking about for weeks now. And it's time we stop the slander and start paying attention, okay? Right here.
Honestly. My Lord and Savior, honestly.
Tyler, how much of your diet did you change with
I changed my diet completely around. Fast foods are out. Fried foods are out. I just try to stick to a strict regimen of vegetables and like salmon, throughout the week of prep. So it's definitely changed a lot, actually.
A couple things I want to pay attention to here, okay? Notice, dripping sweat. But then focus on the eye contact. Watch. Spoken with conviction, spoken with direct eye contact, and spoken without hesitation. Okay? And also part of the with is dripping sweat here. Par for the course based on everything Schotty has told us from the jump. This is not a first offense. This is not the first time that Schotty, speaking of, has gone out of his way to say really positive things about Tyler Guyton. Okay? Clip number 2.
What's the biggest thing you learned from last season?
Taking care of your body is important.
What's the biggest thing you learned?
That's the it right there. I don't know who asked the question, which reporter, but it was a fantastic question. What's the biggest thing that you learned from last season? Between then and now, taking care of your body is important. Once again, conviction, eye contact, no hesitation. It's a good sign. Okay, clip number 3.
Where did you kind of design your new diet from?
I'm just asking questions to our nutritionists, watching videos, learning on my own.
What was the
That's the biggest it right there. One more time. Once again, conviction, eye contact, zero hesitation.
Where did you kind of design your new diet from?
Where did you design your new diet from?
I'm just asking questions to our nutritionists, watching videos, learning on my own.
What was the tough?
Watching videos, learning on my own, and asking questions. Guys, this is telltale classic example of becoming a pro. Okay? I want to refer to a recent tweet here that I made, just sort of trying to do the best that I can to discuss all of this. That's why we're here in this setting now, to talk through it so that I can make sure that I make it clear. But this is the it factor that we're talking about. And by the way, I'm Lando from the Lando Show. And this is Sports Below the Surface. Very, very below the surface today.
I am inevitable.
It's a very different version than the one that we saw as a rookie, okay? And I'm going to explain. We'll take that next step here in a second. Tyler Guyton speaks with a much different level of focus, maturity, and conviction. His it is taking care of his body, which according to him starts with completely changing his diet. That's where the question came from, because part of that clip, it didn't include that when he mentioned that. But essentially the gist of his diet that he discussed: no more fried and fast foods, lots of steaks, salmon, and vegetables. And he alluded also to this change in his diet, not just improving his energy and also his strength, but with the recovery that goes along with it. Okay. He mentioned specifically that his joints and his muscles feel better. His knees aren't aching as much on a day-to-day basis. He's able to recover because he's fueling his body properly. And part of that fuel also includes sleep, a quality sleep regimen, making sure that you're getting to bed on time and getting enough of it. This is all part of being a professional. Okay. When I say the it is happening on the thumbnail here. When I talk about it, this is what I'm referring to. It's not just playing professionally. It's being a professional. Are y'all listening?
Listen, Linda. Listen.
Okay, what?
Being a professional. There's a stark difference between being one and playing professionally. Playing professionally is what rookies do. Playing professionally is what guys like I did until I was 27 years old. There's a very specific reason, guys, why I'm so passionate about this stuff. Okay? And just so we're clear, why I've always said, why I began banging the drum on Tyler Guyton's behalf, as this coaching staff is doing, something that we're not paying enough attention to as a fan base, as a collective. Betting against Tyler Guyton after just one season, I'm saying us as a collective, okay? Knowing what we know about his career journey is, and will continue to be foolish, guys. I believe very strongly in that. Run it back. Rewind. Pause. Take a step back here. Let's 30,000 foot view. This man here, Tyler Guyton, was not playing professional, or was not playing football. He was a full-time basketball player just 5 short years ago. 5 years, guys. Or I guess 6 years now. Going on 6 years. He was a full-time basketball player until 2019. And he's only been a full-time offensive lineman for a little over 3 years. This will be his 4th season as a full-time offensive lineman. Only his 2nd playing left tackle. This was always a project pick. We knew that. We just had we had unrealistic expectations because of what we grew so accustomed to. Tyron Smith, the legend, the Hall of Famer. Okay? Now this is why, so there's a parlaying effect happening here to me. Okay? This is my view here through my lens. But the intentionality of it now, okay, this is where we're sort of segueing into Brian Schottenheimer's influence on it. From Schotty's presser, you could very easily gloss over it, all right? But this is what I talked about today, and once again, I want us to pay very close attention to. What is it? Okay, it's what we just mentioned. It's professionalism. It's taking things upon yourself to focus on your lowest hanging fruit as a professional athlete, whatever avenue or aspect that may be. It's being deliberate, open, honest, and purposeful about what is your plan today in practice. This is where it really gets deep, y'all. It is so easy, the monotony of professional sports. And I'll just use myself as an example since I lived it, okay? You got to play 100 games in a professional baseball season, minimum, for most people, most leagues. Every single day, especially as a pitcher, it's just show up, shag, play catch, sit in the bullpen and wait. And maybe you'll throw that night, depending on how the game goes, how the starter ends up performing, lasting. Had I spent all of that mundane, monotonous time when it's so easy to just show up and check a box, especially in the middle of the Texas summer, going through the motions, just doing what is customary because that's what your protocol is as a pitching staff or as a team. Most people never learn how to handle themselves like a professional. It's the between the ears stuff that sports psychology, sports below the surface, that is more important than whatever you possess physically. Tyler Guyton's 6'8" frame, his basketball athleticism, his ridiculous length is what got him to the league. But if he doesn't start to combine that with the it right here, like he said, going out of his way, asking questions, getting with their nutritionist, putting together a plan, taking those things upon himself. On top of that, recovery, taking care of your body. How important is it? I feel better. My joints don't ache. Right? Learning how to be a pro, it takes time. But Schottenheimer, and I need some help from y'all, okay? Like I said this in the video here. I don't want to necessarily take 4 minutes for y'all to listen to it, but it's right there on Twitter if you want to go and see it. Go and watch. I need some help because I don't necessarily have inside access. I can ask people who do. Like I already said, I'm going to talk to Mike tomorrow about it. But whoever your favorite insider is, tag them or just send them a message and ask them this question right here because I'm curious, and this will tell us a lot. For me, purposeful intentionality. I think I just said the same thing twice. I don't know. Just go with it. Okay. It's late. Is having a plan each and every single day. And Brian Schottenheimer making sure that accountability is not, it starts with, you have to have it personally. But when that personal accountability begins to sort of manifest, team wide, it's very powerful, guys. What do I mean? So for me, right? I actually had this, it was borderline yippish. If you know what the yips are, then you feel me. If you don't, look it up. But yips is a baseball term, sometimes quarterbacks too, I suppose. But it's when basically you have this short circuitry in your brain that won't let you do something that should be customary or normal or done in your sleep, like riding a bike or walking. Okay, catchers get this all the time. So like they literally can't throw the ball back to the pitcher. Sometimes a pitcher has it because all they do is they throw 100% and 10% intensity only from a mound. So if they have to field their position, go field a bunt and stay low field your position and throw a guy out sidearm just to get the ball out quick, or maybe even sometimes underhand, or moving away, backhanding, planting and throwing, different angles, different slopes, all that stuff. Some pitchers, they can't do it. If they're not towing the rubber and ripping it towards the dish, they can't command the fact that they can't command the baseball. They don't know where it's going. Okay. For me, I had that, but it was only on pickoffs. I would come set. I always worked from the stretch only, no windup. So I would come set, and if catchers obviously have signs. A lot of times it's relayed from the dugout or whatever. Hey, just show pick here, okay? And I could do it, right? But I couldn't do it well, and it's because it was like a short circuitry. I had this thing where it was like I knew I had to pick off, and I was just like, my body just wanted to turn. It was like I could not come set, take a deep breath, and then mix up my looks. Something deeply psychological. And I just accepted it. Like I can't pick. As soon as I come set, I can't stop and take a deep breath. It's like something is just tugging at me. Because I know I have to pick off, but as soon as I come set, boom, rip and throw. I couldn't ever mix up my looks and wait it out. So if you were stealing bases, had I made it further into my career, guys would have stolen bases on me all the time, unless I worked on it, because they would have known, hey, if he doesn't pick right as his glove touches, as the baseball touches the glove, he's not picking. Because I literally could not do it. So that's a classic example of what I'm talking about here. Brian Schottenheimer is making sure that there's a team-wide accountability and focus, a purposeful discussion around, hey, what's your sole focus for today? What is your low-hanging fruit that we're going to focus all of our energy on? Similar methodology happening in Jacksonville, by the way. I don't know if you're paying attention. Travis Hunter is only repping one position in practice right now. They're bringing him on slowly, having all of his energy either focused on the receiver position, he's working with the receivers that day, or DBs. It's not combining the two. That's too much. Okay? So if I step onto the field, if I'm Tyler Guyton, and I know I got a lot of things to work on, you can't clear the mechanism and really hone in on one particular thing if you aren't intentional. If you don't bring the it to the field with you that day, discussing it with your teammates, discussing it with your position coaches, discussing it with Brian Schottenheimer, getting with the nutritionists and the trainers. How can I eat better? How can I recover better? It's being a pro. I want to know, how much intentionality did the previous regime, or regimes, plural, how much did they address this? I want any reporter that you guys love the most. I mentioned in that video here on Twitter, Nick Harris, Calvin Watkins, Clarence Hill, Mike Fisher. I'm going to talk to him. I'll get him to ask somebody. John Machota, Todd Archer, whoever, tag them. Because this is where we as fans have a little bit of power, y'all. We have a voice. We have a power now because of communities like this, because of y'all. And by the way, don't forget, I teased the last time we were here. The Project Trench is coming. It's been a little bit slower than I wanted it to be. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's okay. I enjoy doing it, but that's why I need y'all to do your part, right? Take attendance here, show love, free to hit the like button. Just do me a favor. And depending on the response that I get when I post it, that will dictate whether or not we do more like it. But it is more time consuming, so we'll see. Back to the point. Oh, I got to charge my stuff up here, y'all. Hold up. A little background music while we wait. CowboysCountry.com, by the way, if I haven't said that today. me check the chat box, see what you guys are talking about, see if I'm making myself clear. Salam is here officially. Let's go, man. I went off on a 20-minute tangent. Forgot to check back in, but appreciate you being here, bro. Thank you. I don't think we're getting to bed on time. No, sir. All right. Am I making sense for the most part on that Tyler Guyton topic? MZ Cowboys here. Dan is here. What's good, Dan? Who else did I miss? Okay. Yeah, you're right, Dan. We got to see it manifest. Tim, thanks for being here, sir. Let's go. All right, back to it. Right back to it. Let's go. I'm going to try to get out of here in the next 15. So the question, once again, how intensive was the previous regime or regimes on this topic, and how serious is this roster currently taking it? Seems to me as if they're taking it pretty damn seriously. All right. On top of that context that we discussed with Tyler Guyton, just to make sure, okay? Full-time basketball player prior to 2019. Bounced around as a tight end, played a little bit offensive line, a little bit of defensive tackle. Wasn't a full-time offensive lineman until about 3 years ago. Year 2 playing full-time left tackle. And on top of all that, last year, his offensive line coach, his coaching staff, that regime, coaching on expiring contracts, fighting for their coaching lives, if you will. No time for holding hands around here. Mike Solari. No time for babysitting, hand holding. Across the board.
Damn!
The special guest that you guys will see on my show that you're all very familiar with. On this particular topic here, that discussion regarding last year's first round draft pick, we are in lockstep. Okay. It all sounds like glitz and glamour for right now. Buzzwords, right? If you will, we got to see it manifest, like Dan said a second ago. But when there's team-wide accountability, starting from the top. Do y'all remember Brian Schottenheimer about 2 weeks ago? Day 1 of rookie minicamp, what happened? What we talked about? Y'all probably forgot. Right here. Brian Schottenheimer changing Cowboys culture 1 free throw at a time. Whether it's mastering a playbook, diving into a meeting, pushing your habits in your personal life, or just picking up a mini hoop in the locker room, the mission is the same. Get to know each other, compete with each other, and grow together. The first meeting that they had at rookie minicamp, y'all, remember? Maybe this was the first, was it the first time the whole team was gathered, all right? He made every player stand up and sit in a different seat. That was the first thing that he did. And then they had a 5 to 10 minute session where instead of going through and, like you did in college, right? When teacher goes row by row and person by person, all the way up and down the stadium style classrooms, and everybody's saying the same stuff in the same dull tone of voice. Nobody wants to speak publicly. Nobody's paying attention because everybody else is worried about speaking publicly. They're not even listening to what you're saying. Schotty said, screw all that. He said, instead, what we're going to do is nobody gets anything from that. This is not, public speaking doesn't win you Super Bowls. Relationships does. Getting to know each other, the person behind the player. Because the more you get to know somebody, the more likely you are to fight for them. Give it 110. Are y'all listening?
Guys,
Linda, listen. Listen, Linda. Listen.
okay, what?
I think I've said enough on that front. Dak Prescott. Change the pace a little bit. Let me know when y'all are ready. Dak's still developing. The quote that's getting twisted by haters, fans who claim to be fans, mainstream media, national media, local media, even in some rare cases. We are actually going to listen to this video because
be taken out of context for sure in a couple different ways. I'm going to tell you in that quote from Schotty today about Dak still in the developmental phase. And while that quote can be taken out of context for sure in a couple different ways, I'm going to tell you why I love it. All right, first glance, I knew that it was going to be I knew that it was going to create some headlines when he said it, okay? Is your Froggy still there? Okay, 1 second. Let's make sure the shop's open here. Here's the thing. Developmental phase for Dak Prescott. 9 years in now. I see him. He's trying to sleep. He's trying to stay where it's cool until it gets dark outside.
frogs,
We have
man.
a frog issue out here. There you go, baby. I'm just working a little bit. I'll be done in just about 45 seconds. So the thing about the quarterback position is that it's the one rare position in pretty much every sport, right? But especially in football, that the guys who are wired the right way continue to get better with age. Okay, that's the first thing to consider here. Secondly, Schotty understands this. It's a psychological element here, holding everybody to the same standard. Okay, don't matter how long you've been in the league, don't matter what your name is, don't matter how much money you make. You have an obligation to continue finding ways to get better. Okay.
Critical.
Listen to what Schotty said beyond the quote. Okay, Dak's still in the developmental phase. That's what people are going to run with. But if you listen to the full context of what he is actually saying here, okay, there's deeper meaning to that, and it's this right here. The second you start to get comfortable at any position, but especially the quarterback position, you start to think that you got it all figured out. Probably is the second that you should think about hanging them up. That's it right there.
That's what was so conveniently cut off, guys, right? Oh, let's clip and copy and paste the part about Schotty saying Dak is still in the developmental phase. Let's eliminate all context, all logic, reason from the equation. I shouldn't say logic. because sports psychology is not logical to most people who haven't been in the competitive arenas before or at a high level, right? Or just recently. So it's long ago. And it's easy to forget. I was in this world. So that's why, I mean, that's obviously one of the reasons why I'm self-dubbed sports psychology guy, I guess. I'm sure that'll fade. But what is important here? What Schotty knows, what he's saying, and what I hope more people understand, hopefully as a result of this video here, this project, is quarterback is it's like the one position in all of sports where you continuously get better with age because there's so much of the position that starts and ends right here between the ears. So you get to the point to where you can't be fooled because you've seen everything. But part of what Schotty is saying also too, it's because defenses are getting smarter. And I'm once again trying not to spill the beans, y'all, about my next project. There's layers, okay? But you can't really ever see everything because there's always a new chess piece. There's always a new that ever evolving NFL pendulum is going to perpetually swing, right? But when you see most, like Dak has, you get to a point where you can't be fooled. I think Dak is in the developmental phase. That sounds crazy for a guy who has played that much. But the minute these quarterbacks think they figured it all out, that's when it's probably time for them to hang them up. That was the finishing, the closing context for what Schotty said. If you listen to the actual interview, which clearly not enough people do. It's the most cerebral position in all of sports, y'all. You're never a finished product. And the second that you start to believe that you are is the second that you should probably think about hanging them up. Okay, even deeper meaning to this. That's the surface level. That's the logic. Okay, but here's the deeper stuff. This is also, guys, just the same parallel. I should probably mention in addition. That is the it that I was just talking about with Tyler Guyton. It's the same thought process, guys. There's always a low-hanging fruit for you to improve upon. I can always get better. I should have taught myself how to pick off the first base without feeling that tug as soon as I come set, spinning and going. I should have mastered that. I should have worked on that as a part of my craft. That way I'm not just freaking up there. I got Tourette's trying to keep my left shoulder, my subconscious, from spinning and turning and firing to first base. I should have repped it. There are countless examples of that exact same set. There are countless other subsets of what I just mentioned there in the football world that these guys are dealing with under The largest microscope in all sports, Dallas Cowboys. The best players in the world at that position, right? Cowboys examples here. Staubach and Aikman, Super Bowl champions. You can even take it a step further. Brady, Manning, Mahomes, Rodgers. They treat every offseason like it's a new climb. There's something new to work on. Tom Brady's TB12 didn't start whenever he was in college at Michigan. It didn't start his first 5 years in New England. These guys live in the film room. They're constantly finding ways to adapt, improve, and get better. Climb. Okay? Here's where it gets deep, and this is what we'll close with. Because the NFL is an ever-evolving pendulum where offensive and defensive counterpunch changes every single year, right? We get all that. That's why it's important to never, complacency will kill you. Okay. That's the bottom line. The minute these quarterbacks start to think they've got it all figured out is probably the minute they should think about hanging them up. That right there, y'all. Is a head coach that gets it. That is a head coach who is holding everybody to the same exact level of accountability. Dak Prescott can be criticized by me, the head coach, right? Me too, of course. And I do, and I will. And I have. Dak and Schotty is Dak is a large reason why Schotty is here. By the way, he's at least he's a decent portion of that, right? His input was sought after and received. He didn't want to have to learn a new system. Rightfully so. Or new language, I should say. If Dak Prescott and his $250 million is still in the developmental phase, what do you think Joe Milton thinks when he hears that? What do you think all these rookies, what do you think Tyler Guyton thinks when he hears that? Record-setting contract. Franchise quarterback. Dallas Cowboys. A coach that's tight with him, has a fantastic relationship. But even he is not exempt from accountability. No complacency here. This is a warning against complacency. Are we listening?
Guys,
Listen. Schotty is it's already been planted, but over and over again. Planting the flag of accountability. Joe Milton can't slack. If Dak can't slack, Tyler Guyton can't slack. If Dak can't slack, IMG Academy, Alabama. That ain't enough, Tyler Booker. There's work to be done. We have an obligation as athletes and as teammates to constantly find ways to improve. The ultimate team sport. Complacency will kill you. There is no comfort zone here. You are expected to evolve. Autopilot? Nah.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please? Get him
Don't.
out of here. Throw him out.
Complacency? Nah.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
Gone.
Get him out of here. Throw him out.
So when Schottenheimer says Dak is still developing, he's not questioning his quarterback one, y'all. He's not questioning his ability. He's not questioning his character. He's not questioning his commitment. He is simply setting the tone. Because in that building, now, under Brian Schottenheimer, everybody works. Remember the WHATABURGER discussion? WHATABURGER is a thumbnail in my YouTube profile, one of my videos. You'll see the logo. That's the video that I would love it if y'all would click on. It's just recently, maybe second to last, third to last video. You don't got to scroll very far. I'll link it in the description. All my written work. I'm creating receipts for myself. So all the haters out there, I know everybody has them. So I'm just assuming. I don't know of anyone specifically necessarily. I can maybe point a few fingers, but that's not, to me, it doesn't matter. Fact check me. Hold me accountable. And call me out if I miss something. If I get something incorrect. It will happen. But it hasn't happened yet this offseason. And it's my job to make sure that it doesn't happen frequently. You can go right here to cowboyscountry.com. If you type in Cowboys Country or Athlon Sports and then my name, Landon Holyfield, you can check my work. You can fact check me. The work is written. It's done. It's there. But the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because I just want y'all to know that I'm here for y'all. I put the work in. I take pride in it. In reading body language, facial expressions, understanding sports psychology. That's something that I'm very passionate about because I know how powerful it is. I've lived it. And it's really cool to see a coach embrace that and lean into it. And then we already have, I know everybody's saying we got to wait and see what it looks like on the field. And that's true. But there's already verifiable evidence suggesting that, like, there is proof right here. A lot of this stuff is manifested, guys. I'm just saying. I'm proud of it. This is a lot of work right here. I'm very proud of it. May 4th, talking about culture change. Way before that. You know, I mean, there have been signs. Secret Weapon on April 14th, changing the culture, changing identity. April 13th, Scalpel to Sledgehammer. Fingerprints, you know, Schotty's fingerprints, quietly pushing Cowboys change. April 10th. I mean, maybe the most important one, when I really knew that something was different, is this one right here. There's a different feel to this guy. Cowboys coach reveals how half my day is spent. Go get you some. And let me know what you think. Like I said, hold me accountable. Call me out. Thank you to the official partner of the Lando Show, Waggle. Get your waggle.com. I got Dairyland graphic tee today. Cal, just, you know, the farm fields, getting some work in, getting some reps in. He's displaying that it factor, saying that you don't have to, you know, things don't have to be rosy to get better. The work never stops. Shout out Mr. Cal, Dairyland. We'll call him Cowboy Cal. Okay, I need to go to bed. Sorry, guys. Here's the, you know what? Let's just do this. Raymond Solis in the house too. What's up, Ray? Get you some with this code right here. My code's officially, it's bedtime. It's built in to that QR code right there. 10% discount. It's not much, but we have some other things in the works. Anybody in here in the chat? All my golfers sound off. Take attendance that way too. For those who are also unaware, I co-founded a golf business with 3 of my former baseball playing buddies, best friends, business partners now, and it's a lot of fun. I'm proud of that stuff too. But all my golfers in the house, stand up, and then after you stand up, go to bed, because that's what I'm about to do. Can't wait for you guys to see this next project. Never done it before. Never worked with this special guest that you guys will all know very well, and I hope that you all appreciate. Thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for staying up late tonight. And thanks for helping me clear the air. I appreciate you. Remember that prayer changes things and the war is already won. You guys have a great Friday.